Shalom, call halal, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushua Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. This will be just a quick response to the elder. Ariali did an excellent video going in on how Esau is so disgusting in his rulership and how Salaki, I turned it down, but going into how these Edomites are trying so hard to keep their grasp and keep their hold, keep their hold on this lid that's fucking flying off from this pot, you know, because the scriptures talk about basically the wicked. They're gonna have to drink of the wrath of everything that they've done. The wicked is gonna have to drink of that. They're gonna have to drink of that cup. They're gonna have to sip it all the way down, and including the dregs too, of all the things that they've done, the wickedness they've done, because like the brothers going into how they're talking about Texas, they're talking about, you know, how great Edomites were, and it's a crime to be an Edomite and all this weak garbage. You know, those Edomites in Texas, they're just like the ones up here in the Midwest. You know, I'm driving behind a construction truck, a construction vehicle now. That's one of the top jobs, and even in those jobs, these Edomites are struggling. They're showing up to work, you know, high and shit, showing up high off pills, high whatever the fuck they're high off of, because they can see that their empire is crumbling, and it's not because of us. It's not because, you know, we're forming a physical army to raise up against them, or we're, you know, hacking into the government, or we're interfering with their government, which we are interfering with their government operations on a spiritual level. Okay, we're not doing anything on a carnal level. And these Edomites, their society is fucking dwindling. And they're trying everything that they can to keep this shit under wraps. They're trying so hard. They're trying to assemble. That's why Trump was put in office. Everybody knows that. He was put in there because these so-called Edomites, so-called white people, aka these red Hebrew Edomites, they were tired of looking at a melanated face for 8 years. And Donald Trump came out with his lingo, his style of leadership, you know, all the bullshit that comes with that, and they opted for that. You know, which that's what Edomites do. You know, all these Edomite rulers have been completely wicked, but at least they were smart enough to try to at least hide it, you know, try to deceive the very elect, try to deceive our people, so our people could say, hey, you know, they're not that bad. You know, controlling the media, so they say, you know, putting that confusion out that, you know, they're really not that bad. You know, you see all these posts, these pictures that the media is running of these different shooters, and they're trying to make them look like he was a family man and he just went crazy, and this is just a single case of this. You know, there's nothing bigger. This isn't linked to white supremacy. You know, they asked Trump the white supremacy question. It's like, well, look, isn't white supremacy becoming a problem? He's like, nah, it's just a few people that are you know, linked up. It's really not anything, you know, for us to worry about. We just have to deal with it as it comes. Hey, because at the end of the day, one thing our people are not understanding, they're a nation. These people all come from the same nation. They go back to the same bloodline. Okay, they go back to their ancestors, the different Edomite clans, these different Edomite families and shit, in which, you know, behind the scenes, they take great pride in the things that their family has done. You know, they got businesses set up. Shit, we've been doing business since 1800, blah, blah, blah. We've been doing business since the early 1900s. You know, they take great pride in that. Yeah, we've been doing when all you were doing was you had a bunch of slaves, or you were stealing from Israelites. You came over, you took their land, or they stole our ideas, our inventions, or maybe they stole our music or something. Because a lot of Edomites did that too. They'll steal our music and make it sound like their own when they heard it from us first. And then they won't give us the sample credit for it, for us the sample credit for the music or whatever. Even though that's kind of a newer thing, the whole sampling thing. But yeah, that's something our people are not acknowledging. And any branch of information that our people go into, you got all the different false doctrines that we get on, Islam or Christianity or Pan-Africanism or whatever the hell that they get into, or some sort of weird cocktail mixture of any of those. And that's another thing our people like to do. They like to pick and choose, but you have to fall under the full doctrine. You have to go under the full doctrine, and that's what our people don't want to do, because just like we had a sit down on it last week, it takes discipline to be an Israelite. Everybody can't just become, of course, we're Black Native American and Latino people, we're the spiritual Israelites. We're the physical Israelites too. But to get into that spirit and even to get into the camp, it takes discipline. It takes discipline for the Lord to deal with you and for you to grow. The Lord has to sup with you in order for you to have a certain level of faith and have a certain level of understanding. The Lord has to sup with you. And he's not just dealing with anybody. Scriptures do talk about he's dealing with the lowly men, but we're lowly according to this world. And we are, of course, we went off. And that's why we were punished. We were brought here. But the Lord is raising us up. The Lord is bringing us back to that spirit. That's all you're seeing throughout Great Millstone. I can't speak for other camps, but I can speak for Great Millstone. You're seeing men with that ancient world mentality, and that hey, you got some rough men who so you got some rough Israelites all over who represent the same thing and who stand under the same code. And when we greet each other and we embrace each other, we agree upon certain principles. And then, if we go off, then, that has to be corrected too. But, that's one thing our people have not come to terms with. Of course, time to time, they might throw a few of them under the bus. A few Edomites, they get off cold or they get caught up and they get thrown under the bus. But for the most part, when it comes to them progressing as a nation, when it comes to them keeping their image clean, keeping their nation clean, trying to keep, that Superman, that great, white boy image, the white hair, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, the all-American Tommy Hilfiger white boy image. They want to keep that. And their image, they don't want to be associated with anything negative, because if you're doing that, you're bashing white people. And then, they're doing the classic sucker shit, playing the victim. Here it is, you've done all the bullying, you've done all the killing, you've done all the destroying. Our people do a small amount of that, and they're wicked as hell for doing that. But for the most part, it's Edomites doing that. On a mass scale, black people have never killed anybody on a mass scale. You've never seen black people just come in and you've never seen that. Latino, except unless it was a fight, unless we were challenged to a fight. Yeah, you even had so-called Negroes fighting you had Negroes and Native Americans, I know for sure, who fought in the damn War for Confederacy, which is a war between Edomites, one sect of the Edomites versus the other sect of the Edomites for rulership in America, for global domination. So, matter of fact, on both sides of that fence. So, these Edomites, they got a lot to pay for. Let's not forget all the years of so-called Edomite privilege. let's not forget that that was a thing. And it wasn't just a social thing, it was a thing that was backed by the federal government. Redlining, these Edomites, everybody knows that even, especially at the job, they practice what? Cronyism, nepotism. They pass it down to their family. That's why they have their fraternities. One of the most famous fraternities in the world, which fraternity is a brotherhood, is what? The Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux, that goes back to the Greek, Kluklos, meaning a gear. Meaning a gear. So, the gears, what do? They mesh together. They click up. They click up and they create that system of gears, and they do whatever it might be. It might be a clock. It might be, hey, you got gears in your car. So, these Edomites, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what's going on. When they get behind the scenes, and that's another thing too. They don't fuck with Jake like that. Unless he's a coon and they're trying to use him and sucker him to go into his community and make it an easier target. They don't fuck with Jake like that. I'm riding through one of their neighborhoods now. Rare you see one of us out here. And it's like that. Is it by accident? No, it's by design. Like the job, you want to get to a certain position in the job. Well, number one, you got to be talented. You got to have the skills to get up there. And then number two, you got to shake hands. So, these Edomites, once again, they're a nation. The Genesis it gives, I can't read because I'm driving, of course, now, but Genesis talks about the dukes of Edom, right? The different sons of Edom. And, we know the history of Esau. We know what they like to do. They were always into witchcraft. They were always into spirits. They were always in the living in a fucking cave. And heaven's Lord knows what they were doing in the fucking cave. We know they're into dealing with brother and sister, and everything that the scriptures speak about against, everything that is holy, that people have historically been against. It was only when they could fake it and pretend like they were into it, but still have that undercurrent of doing wickedness, that they were able to control and power the world. That's why the scripture referred to them as the great serpent. They're that great serpent. And what is a serpent? A serpent is a creature with what? No arms. It doesn't have no legs. It doesn't have a lot of big muscles over his body. It just has that one muscle, It's that's his body. It's like a giant tail. It's that one muscle. But his greatest weapon is what? That deception. The ability to, you watch a serpent in one of these documentaries, he'll sit in a hole, he'll wait for you. He'll be coiled up for days. Nights. He can go to sleep, he can see in the dark. And then you walk by, boom, and that serpent strikes you. And serpents, that's one of the deadliest, but it's one of the deadliest creatures in the world. The black mambas, the rattlesnakes, the cobra, all of these different serpents. And there's only a handful of animals that even fucking fight the damn serpent. But that's why they call it. That's why they call that serpent, the damn crafty devil. And these Edomites know it. But once again, this isn't just a thing of isolated incidents. There's a reason why the brother was displaying a radio show that they had where these Edomites were talking. But guess what? Here, those Edomites are having the same around the circle conversation. You go up to New York, they're having the same conversations. You go over to Kansas City, having the same conversation. Los Angeles, they're having the same conversation behind the scenes. And, we know it. The scriptures say what? Thine heart has deceived thee. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee. It also says what? In their mind, they believe that nation will go on forever. That's another thing, too. These Edomites, here it is, every nation that's came under the heavens that's been wicked like this, that's gotten to a great point, it had to fall. It fell, every single one. Somehow though, even us, we even fell. And they love to whitewash our history and not show us for who we really are. But here it is, you talk about their nation. Oh, America, we're going forever. And, they start talking about smart cities. Look, we're going to converge with machines, and we're going to go into to the other planets, and all these little utopias of Edomites. You notice there are rarely any Jakes. Maybe it'll be one or two, just to throw you off, but there's rarely any fucking Jakes on there. And they just start putting them, in fairly recently. So, these Edomites, once again, when it's time to sit down at that table of power, Jake is not present at that table. Jake, they can be the poster boy, they can be the sucker who represents a bunch of Edomites and, maybe does business with them on the low, or maybe they throw them a few scraps on the low, I'll say it like that. They're not really doing business on a full-scale level like they are. But when it's time to sit at that seat for power, control of the world's oil, control of the world's different nuclear elements that are needed to create a certain bombs, missiles, and weapons of mass destruction. When it's time to do all of that, you don't see Israelites at the table. There's no Israelite in the world who owns a nuclear fucking weapon. None. Not one. I'm pretty sure it's not one. I'm gonna look that up and see if they have some nukes in West Africa. Maybe in South America or something. Maybe they have something, but those could be tears. You got a lot of tears in leadership down in South America too. You got a lot of tears. So, and they're not under the vibration, the Israelite vibration too. That's another factor. Again, we have to consider. So, again, these Edomites, hey, all of the little red pill truths and all the shit that they deal with, that's been like internalization things. They Edomites are starting to figure their women out, even though Jake has been talking about it for years. Edomites are starting to figure out the formula, the bullshit that Western society has created, and they're starting to figure out shit. Either we're gonna have to go all the way back into the old world style of doing things, or like where I'm at in Missouri, these hillbilly backwards ass Edomites, they still do things old fashioned, according to their little ways, their laws or whatever. A lot of them out, they still live in the woods in a fucking shack. Or they're gonna have to step on the gas and they're gonna have to try to take this thing in and take the world over. But they can see, they have access to their birth rates, their death rates, which their birth rates are not that great. Their death rates are going up. Their image around the world is being tainted. How is it you have the fucking, man, how is it every single president that you've put in office has had some sort of scandal? Every one. Every single president has had some sort of scandal. Every last leader of this country. Not just a minor slip up, a fucking scandal. That's like a major fuck up. Hey, when Trump came into the office, he was blowing a whole bunch of dog whistles. He brought in Steve Bannon. That dude's a total devil. One of his favorite books is fucking The Camp of the Saints, which the Camp of the Saints in the scriptures is talking about Israel. But in the book, it's some dark-skinned people that, basically it's talking about dark-skinned people coming to the Western world and taking over, which it's all a metaphor for the Israelites. It's all a metaphor because they know who you are. Hey, you do something for so long, as Jake, these Edomites, they notice that men are been standing out, for 20, 30 years preaching on the highways and byways. They notice. They talk about it behind the scenes. Yeah, they notice, brothers in my camp, brothers in other camps, they notice us. Man, these guys are out again. That's another reason that the Lord said, go to the highways and byways. Make your body a living sacrifice. In season and out of season. But I just want just a quick spiritual rant on those things. It's coming to a close, man. These Edomites, they know what time it is. They really hope and want to hope that this shit is gonna end. They really are ready to go to war with the Most High, go to war with the angels. They're ready to go to war. And they really believe that, look, we can change things. We've gotten so advanced, we can change reality. I think they did a thing where they said they actually went fucking back in time with some damn quantum computers or some shit. I can't speak on, whether that they really did some shit like that or not. I don't believe it personally, but these Edomites, they're really doubling down on the bullshit. Matter of fact, they're tripling down on it. Like in poker, you make a bet, and then when if everybody checks, you gotta either double down or you gotta fold and lose your money. And these Edomites, they doubling down and then doubling down again. But then the receipts keep coming out. So hey, brothers, continue to push, continue to fight through the faith. You gotta stay in the spirit. Hey, you gotta pray for more spirit. Just like Elisha prayed, I want a double portion of what Elijah had. Hey, we want that portion. We want that portion. Pray for that portion of the spirit to be on you. Call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shabbat Shem Shalom.